Welcome to Curie Projects. This is the second part of the VSSC 2019 February Technician B Electronics question paper. The first part we have solved question number 1 to 24, and today we are going to solve question number 25 to 59. If you have not seen the part 1, please watch it. So we will start the second part. Question number 25. Which of the following is not true for an inductor? Option A, an inductor can store energy. This is true. This is true. Inductor stores energy, and when it is powered off, it releases the energy immediately. The second option, an inductor current cannot change instantaneously. This is also true. If this is the inductor, if we apply a DC to inductor, if this is 5 volt, and the current, depending on the load, the current doesn't change instantaneously, it slowly rises. So inductor current doesn't change instantaneously. This is the I and this is the V. Option C, an inductor acts as open to DC. This is not true. Inductor acts short to DC. So this is the option C. And the option number, now this question number 26. Question number 26. Number of solutions for the system of linear equations 2x minus y equal to 3, minus 4x plus 2y equal to minus 6. So they are given two equations, and we have to check how many solutions are there for the equation. Let's check. These are the equations: 2x minus y equal to 3 and minus 4x plus 2y equal to minus 6. So I will multiply the first equation with the minus 4, coefficient of x term. So minus 8x minus plus 4y equal to minus 12. With this minus 4 I am multiplying this equation. Similar way, this minus 2 I am multiplying the second equation. It will be minus 8x plus 4y minus 12. Now if I subtract 1 minus 2, I will get 0, 0. See, whenever you solve two equations and you get left hand side and right hand side equal to 0, 0, this means it has many solutions. Many solutions. It has many solutions. Many solutions. So the answer is it has got many solutions. And when you solve x equal to 5, y equal to 2, this has only one solution. One solution. If you get 2 equal to 5, one constant number equal to another constant number, if you get, there is no solution. No solution. No solution. Okay, we'll go to the next question. So the question we have checked already. So the options are infinite, B unique, D no solution, C two solution. So the answer is infinite number of solutions or many solutions. Question number 27. In an operational amplifier circuit, ratio between differential gain and common mode gain is. Option A, PSSR, PSRR, power supply rejection ratio. Option B, CMRR, common mode rejection ratio. Option C, noise figure. Option D, gain margin. So this is the op-amp. See, when you consider one op-amp, this is the minus and this is the plus. These are the two inputs. We will short these two inputs and apply the same signal. This is what is called common mode. We will get the output. This is the common mode. For common mode, the ratio of V out divided by V in should be less than 1. Should be less than 1. This when the application is wherever the noise is there, noise will act as a common mode signal. When these two inputs we apply different signals, then it is differential mode. This CMMR, the answer for the question is CMMR. Option B. CMR equal to differential gain divided by common mode gain. Question number 28. Which of the following circuit has a built-in hysteresis? Option A filter, option B timer, option C JK flip-flop, option D Smith trigger. The answer is Smith trigger. Smith trigger, we can apply any input. Assume that we will apply sine wave and we will get an output square wave. Output is square wave. We will get output square wave. But this input will have a window to change between a particular value only the output changes. That is what called a threshold. There is some usually there will be 0.5 volt threshold to provide hysteresis to the Smith trigger. Question number 29. The primary of a transformer is connected to a 220 volt RMS source and has a current of 250 milliamps. The secondary is providing 22 volt RMS across a 10 ohm load. What is the efficient power input? Our input voltage is 220 volt and the current is 0.25 amps. P output is 22 voltage is applied across 10 ohm resistor. So output voltage is 22. The current is 2. V by R. That means 22 divided by 10, 2.2 amps. Now efficiency equal to P out divided by P in. P out is 2.22 multiplied by 2.2 divided by 220 volt multiplied by 0.25. 22 we can cancel it. So here what will be left? 10 will be there. Multiplied by 100 is there. So what you will get? You will get 2.2 220 divided by 2.5. If we divide, what we get? 220 divided by 2.5. It is 88%. So the efficiency is 88%. So option A 92%, option B 90%, option C 88%, option D 95%. So the answer is option C 88%. Question number 30. What are the characteristics of an ideal operational amplifier? Option A infinite output impedance, zero input impedance, infinite bandwidth. Option B zero output impedance, option infinite input impedance, infinite bandwidth. Option C infinite output impedance, infinite input impedance, narrow bandwidth. Option D infinite output impedance, zero input impedance, narrow bandwidth. And the correct option is the option B, zero output impedance, infinite input impedance, infinite bandwidth for an ideal op-amp amplifier. Question number 31. What is the ripple frequency of a full wave bridge rectifier circuit? For a full wave bridge bias circuit, the ripple will be double of the input frequency. So option A, same as the input AC frequency. No, this is not the answer. Option B, twice the input AC frequency. This is the answer. Twice the input AC frequency. Question number 32. What is the current through the load in the given circuit? So this is a transformer, 1:4 transformer. So it's a step-up transformer. Input voltage is 25 volt peak to peak. And the output side we have 1 kilo ohm resistor. The question is, what is the current through the load in the given circuit? So our primary VP equal to 25 volt and the transformer ratio is 1:4. So it's a step-up transformer. And the RL is 1 kilo ohm. Now the transformer equation V primary divided by V secondary equal to V primary by V secondary equal to N primary divided by number of turns in the primary divided by number of turns in the secondary equal to current in the secondary divided by current in the primary. Now our VP is 25 volt, VS secondary we don't know. A number of turns N1 equal to 1 and N2 equal to 4, 1:4 ratio. So from this Vs equal to 4 multiplied by 25, 25 multiplied by 4, which comes to 100 volt. So 100 volt is the our V secondary. Now what is the 100 volt is there? We have one now I2. I2 is the question. We have to find the secondary current. So I2 equal to 100 volt divided by 1 kilo ohm resistor. So 100 divided by 1000. So it will be 0.1 amps, which is equal to 100 milliamps. So option A 10 milliamps, option B 100 milliamps, option C 25 milliamps, option D 6.25 milliamps. So the answer is option B 100 milliamps. Question number 33. If the capacitor in a simple RC integrator becomes open due to a failure in the output, RC integrator is similar to a low pass filter. So we have a resistor here. This is the then we use a capacitor here. This is to filter the high frequency. Here we will take the output. Now, if this capacitor opens, what happens? Whatever is the input, it will be same. The input and output will be same once the capacitor opens. So the answer for this question is option A would increase exponentially. Option B would measure the same as the input. Option C would measure 0 volts. Option D none of the above. The answer is would measure the same as the input. Question number 34. Area of a circle is 49 pi centimeter square. Its circumference is. So area of the circle is given by pi r square. That is the area of a circle, which is equal to 49 pi. So the pi will cancel. So radius equal to 7. Now what is the circumference? Circumference equal to 2 pi r. So which is equal to 2 into 2 multiplied by radius 7 into pi, which is equal to 14 pi. So 14 pi is the answer. Yeah, option A 14 pi is the answer. Now question number 35. In a class AB push-pull amplifier, crossover distortion is avoided by biasing the transistors. Option A in cutoff region, option B slightly above cutoff. For this question, the answer is slightly above cutoff region. In a class AB push-pull amplifier, this crossover distortion is avoided by biasing the transistors slightly above the cutoff region. This is the answer. Question number 36. What is the frequency in hertz for the sinusoidal signal E equal to 10 sin 1000 pi t? The sinusoidal signal is given as, whatever the sinusoidal signal, general form is A sine omega t. This we can write it as A sine 2 pi f t. If we convert, this is the general equation for the sinusoidal wave. If we compare this equation with this, the 10 is the amplitude and pi t we can take out the pi t also gone. Then what is left? 2f. 2 in place of 2f, here 1000 is there. So f equal to 1000 divided by 2. So the answer is 500. Answer is 500. So the frequency of this whatever the waveform given by this equation is 500 Hertz. Question number 37. Which of the following is not true for a BJT? Current control device. BJT is a current control device. That is true. Option B, voltage control device. This is not true. BJT is, MOSFET is voltage control device, but BJT is current control device. So the answer is voltage control device. Transistor has 2 PN junctions. That is correct. It's a 3-terminal device. Now question number 38. Data and address bus width of a 8085 microprocessors respectively are. This 8085 microprocessor is the 8-bit controller, 8-bit microprocessor. So the data bus is 8 bits and the address bus is 16. So the option data and address bus, data 8-bit data and 16-bit address. So answer is the option B, 8-bit data bus, 16-bit address bus. Question number 39. Which of the following has negative temperature coefficient? Option A, strain gauge. Option B, thermistor. Option C, RTD. Option D, thermocouple. So we have strain gauge, thermistor, RTD and thermocouple. The thermocouple means it will have 2 junctions. We consider this as a one metal. This we how the thermocouple is made means this we have one metal. Then using another metal we will make a junction here. Here also using another metal we will make a junction here. So we are using 2 types of metal and 2 junctions, and we will apply heat here. Heat is applied here and cold is applied here. So whenever this happens, if you connect a multimeter here, voltmeter if here, it will show a voltage difference. That is what the thermocouple. There is no negative temperature coefficient is there. In case of thermistor, has negative temperature coefficient. Thermistor, 2 types of thermistor. 2 types are there. One is the positive temperature coefficient thermistor. Second is the negative temperature coefficient thermistor. So what is the positive temperature coefficient thermistor? If you take this as a temperature and this is the resistance, for a positive temperature PTC, for PTC thermistor, with the rise in temperature, the resistance increases. Resistance increases. It will be keeping, the resistance will be increasing. For a NTC, with the rise in temperature, this value decreases. This resistance decrease. That is what NTC. So the answer for question number 13. So the answer for the question number 39 is thermistor. Now we'll go to the question number. What will be change in capacitance if the area of the plates alone is doubled? Capacitance. The capacitance is given by A epsilon naught divided by D. And in the question they are saying area. So now we need not consider this D, and now we can consider This is the distance between the D is the distance between the plates. So now this equation we can simply write C equal to, C is directly proportional to A. What is A? A equal to pi, A equal to, now what is A here? A equal to pi d square by 4. Pi d square by 4. Sorry, this number, question number 40, we need not to go so much. What will be change in capacitance if the area of the plate alone is doubled? So this is our equation. This is our equation. Capacitance is A epsilon naught by D. This is the equation. Now if area doubles, capacitance also doubles. So the answer is becomes option B becomes double. Question number 41. If a 1 meter long wire has a resistance of 100 milliohms, what will be the resistance of another piece of wire of the same material and length but with twice the diameter? Option A 25 milliohms, option B 50 milliohms, option C 100 milliohms, option D 200 milliohms. Now as per the question, this we have one wire. The length of the wire is 1 meter, and the resistance of the wire is this wire equal to 100 milliohms. And we have one more similar wire, but the wire is diameter. This diameter is, for this wire, diameter is D. We have one more wire whose length is same 1 meter, and diameter is double the diameter of first one. So this is the diameter equal to 2D. What is the resistance? That is we have to find the resistance. That is the question. Now resistance of a wire is given by R equal to rho L by A, which equal to rho L equal to 1 divided by A equal to pi d square by 4. So this is our first one. So if we simplify here, so our for the actual wire, the first wire has the resistance of 100 milliohm, and it is the rho by pi d square by 4. This is our first equation, first wire case. Now the second wire, only the diameter is changing to, diameter is 2D, twice the diameter. So what I will do, I will keep the on the same wire 100 milliohm. No, we have to find the R equal to rho we can just no need to consider it also, because it's same, material is same. In pi, in place of D, we'll get 2D whole square divided by 4. So R equal to rho pi 4D square by 4. The 4 cancels. This is our second equation. Now if we compare these two equations, our denominator, here is our denominator. This is pi d square divided by 4 times. Is for the first equation. The second equation, it is denominator is increased by 4 times. If the denominator increase 4 times, that means the resistance decreases by 4 times. That means our resistance will be R equal to 100 milliohm divided by, denominator has increased 4 times by 4. So it will be 25 milliohm. So 25 milliohm is the answer. So here option A 25 milliohm is the answer. Question number 42. What is the hexadecimal equivalent of 160? So 160 is the decimal number. if we divide this by 16, we should get the equivalent hexadecimal. It is 10 times. 16, 10 16s are 160. The remainder is 0. So in hex, 10 equal to A. So if we go like this, we have to go like this. So it is 160 to the decimal 10 equal to A0 hexadecimal 16. Now if you want to check, you can cross verify also. A equal to 10. If you want to convert this to decimal, what you will do? A multiplied by 16 plus 0 16 to the power 1 plus 16 to the power 0. Now if you multiply, A is 10. 10 into 16 plus 0 into 1. So the answer is 160 plus 0. So it is 160. So the answer option A 0A, option B AA, option C A0, option D A5. Out of that, the answer is option C A0. Question number 43. What is the frequency of the sinusoidal signal that occupies 5 horizontal divisions and 3 vertical divisions on a CRO for one complete cycle, if the time base is set to 1 millisecond per division? So that means we have a signal and the CRO is showing one signal. We have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divisions. We have 5 divisions. So the signal is here. 2, 2.5, 2.5. So it should come here. So think that like this is the signal. But the sign. So each division equal to, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should come here. See, this signal is completing 5. This is a full cycle, and this is one division, second division, third division, fourth division, 5 division, and each divisions are 1 millisecond. So now the question is, the time is set to 1 millisecond per division. What is the frequency? What is the frequency of this sinusoidal wave? That's what the question. Now how many divisions it's occupying? 1 millisecond, 2, 3, 4, 5 milliseconds. Total 5 millisecond, t equal to 5 millisecond. 5 millisecond. Now f equal to, so t equal to 5 millisecond. So f equal to 1 by t, which equal to 1 divided by 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 millisecond. So f equal to 1000 goes up, 10 to the power minus 3 when it goes up, that is 1000 divided by 5. So 2 times, so it is 200 hertz. So the frequency of the wave is, sinusoidal wave is 200 hertz. So the answer for this question is option D, 200 hertz. Question number 44. The open circuit voltage of a battery is 10 volt. When it is connected across a resistor of 99 ohm, the voltage across the resistor is 9.9 volt. What is the internal resistance of the battery? Now option A 1 ohm, option B 10 ohm, option C 0.1 ohm, option D 9.9 ohm. So we have a voltage battery of 10 volt open circuit voltage. So that is EMF of the battery is 10 volt. When we connect a 99 ohms as a load, we are getting a voltage drop of 9.9 volt. That means there is a 0.1 volt is dropping. That is the, so there is a internal resistance. This is the internal internal resistance. There we know 0.1 volt is dropping. Now, this is a series circuit, so the current has to be same. So we are applying 10 volt here. 10 volt. I equal to 10 divided by 99 ohm. So we'll get 0.1, 0.10. So I equal to 10 divided by 10 volt divided by 99 ohms, which equal to 0.10 amps, 10 amps. So in this circuit, 0.10 amps flowing. So in the series circuit, current is same. Here we are having a 0.1 volt drop. So V equal to I into I multiplied by R, which equal to I is 0.10 okay, 1 second, avoid V, 1 second. V equal to I multiplied by R. We know, V equal to 0.1 volt. I also we know, 0.10 multiplied by R. Now R is very simple. R equal to 0.1 divided by 0.1. So it is equal to 1 ohm. So the answer is 1 ohm. So answer is option A, 1 ohm. Question number 45. Which of the following is not an advantage of BGA or ball grid array packaging? This ball grid array packaging is used in most of the microprocessor, Intel Pentium processor, iCore, most of these processors uses ball grid array. The problem of this packaging is the solderability. It cannot be easily soldered. So the answer is option C, easy solderability. Question number 46. Sum of three consecutive even numbers is 36. The largest among these is. So I know the sum of three numbers are even numbers are 36, and he has given the largest. So what I'll just take I'll just first consider 14. So previous to that 12, previous to that 10. So answer will be 36. So option B is the answer, 14. Question number 47. Which modulation scheme is most affected by noise? If you are listening to radio AM band, we could hear some of tuck somewhat noises and all we can hear. From that itself, we can easily say the answer is option B, amplitude modulation. This is the most affected by noise. Question number 48. In the logic gate that will have high or 1 at its output when all the inputs are low or 0. See, and option A OR gate, option B AND gate, option C NOR gate, option D XOR gate. Now, if I write the truth table for OR gate, A, B and Y, A, B, Y is the output, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. OR gate, if any of the inputs are high, its output will be 1. So this is the OR gate. But in the question, the logic gate will have a high or 1 at its output when all the inputs are low. That means if that is the NOR gate. NOR gate. NOR gate, when all inputs are high, low, we will get a high. So the answer is option C, NOR gate. So friends, this is our second part of VSSC 2019 February Technician B Electronics question paper solution. So please subscribe the channel and press the like button. Also press the notification also, bell icon. If you press the bell icon, you will get a notification. And please share with your friends. When more people are watching the video, I will upload more videos. The next after this I'll be starting the technical assistant question paper. So the next question number 49. What is the value of y in the given figure? Y is our output and two AND gates are there. See, what you have to remember, whenever the OR gate, any input is high, output will be high. If you see this AND gate both are getting 1 1. So the output is also 1. The 1 is here. Irrespective of A or B, the output is always 1. So the answer is option A, 1. Question number 50. Which of the following is used to measure the current in a circuit element? We all know that ammeter is used to measure the current. And how the ammeter is connected? It is connected in series. So the answer is option B, ammeter in series. Question number 51. Which of the following is not an architecture of analog to digital converter? Option A, successive approximation. Option B, counter ramp. Option C, dual slope. Option D, R2R ladder. All these three, successive approximation, counter ramp, dual slope, all these are analog to digital converters. But this R2R network, that is R2R network, 2R, this will be the B0, then R, one more R, this is 2R, this is R, R, 2R, B1, B2, and one more should be there, that is the B3. See, this R2R network, the output will be analog output. So digital, this B0 is the LSB, B1, B2, B3 is the MSB. So whenever you give a digital input, this R2R network provides the analog output. So this R2R ladder network used to convert digital to analog converter. So this, and the answer is option D, R2R ladder. Question number 52. Derivative of minus sin x with respect to minus cos x is. Now I will consider u as minus sin x. So then du by dx equal to minus derivative of sin x equal to cos x. This is the first one. And then minus cos x I will consider this as v equal to minus cos x. Now dv by dx equal to derivative of cos x equal to minus sin x. So this will be equal to sin x. Now the question is derivative of minus sin x with respect to minus cos x. So du by dx divided by dv by dx will be give the relational derivative. So that equal to minus cos x divided by sin x, which equal to minus cot x. So the answer is option C, minus cot x. Question number 53. What will be the current through the resistor in the given figure? So there's a 5 volt battery is connected, one diode is there, and one 10 ohm resistor is there. If you closely look at the diagram, the negative terminal of the battery is connected to the anode of the diode. So this diode acts like a open. It acts like a open. So there is no current flow. So the answer is option C, 0 amps. Question number 54. Name of the register which stores the address of the next instruction to be executed in 8085 microprocessor. Option A stake pointer, option B accumulator, option C program counter, option D index register. The answer is program counter. Program counter stores the address location. The instruction register fetches that. The instruction fetches this address from the program counter and executes this. So the answer is option C, program counter. Question number 55. In the given figure, calculate the power dissipated in the resistor R3. Here he has given R1, R2, R3 equal to 1 kilo ohm. All the resistors are 1 kilo ohm. So this is the given diagram. We have a 6-volt battery that is connected to 1K and two resistors are connected here in parallel 1K. Now what is the total current? I equal to V divided by R total. So V equal to 6 volt divided by 1K parallel, here 1K. So it's 1.5K. Keep the current in milliamps, resistor in kilo ohms and voltage in volts. That is the unit you have to follow. You need not to write K and all. You can just solve it. So the answer is 4. This is in milliamps. 4 milliamps current flows through this circuit. 4 milliamps. If 4 milliamps flowing there, and when it reaches here, these are two are equivalent resistors. So 2 milliamps will flow here and 2 milliamps will flow here. Now 2 milliamps will flow here. Now we know the current through the current. Now we know the resistance also. So power equal to, we can use the I square R equation. So 2 square I is 2 milliamps is flowing through the, this resistor, 2 milliamps flowing through resistor. R is 1 kilo ohms. So the answer is 4 milliwatt. Because we are using the milliamps current, so the power is in milliwatt. Okay, so for this question, answer is option B, 4 milliwatt. Question number 56. A 1 megahertz carrier is amplitude modulated using a 1 kilohertz signal. What is the bandwidth required for transmission? For AM, bandwidth equal to 2 times the maximum frequency of the message frequency. So bandwidth. So here the a 1 megahertz carrier is amplitude modulated using a 1 kilohertz signal. So this is our message signal, 1 kilohertz. So the answer is 2 kilohertz. That will be the bandwidth of the AM signal. Question number 57. Device used for switching high current of the order of 100 amps. Option A, regulator. Option B, contactor. Option C, reed relay. Option D, mercury weighted relay. The regulator is a voltage regulator like 7805. These are for small 1 amp, 2 amp currents. Reed relay may be rated around 5 amps, 10 amps. This is the option B, contactor. Contactor is used for high current application. So the answer is option B, contactor. What is the frequency range of audio signals? Audio signal frequency range, we all of us know, that is 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. That's the option A, 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. Audio frequency range means the human being can hear from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. So friends, next is the question number 59. This is our last question. Please subscribe the channel and share with your friends. So our last question, the characteristic impedance of the commonly used coaxial cable RG58 is. Coaxial cable is normally we see for TV and the CCTV. We will use the coaxial cable. This RG58, this cable has got an impedance of 50 ohm. One more cable is there, RG59, which has got an impedance of 75 ohm. So these two, be careful. 58 is 50 ohm. 59 is 75 ohm. The question, the characteristic impedance of the commonly used coaxial cable RG58, or the impedance of RG58 is 50 ohm cable. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share with your friends.